With our Actros construction vehicle, we found a leak in the HL7 direct drive axle. The search for the cause begins in the pit. First, remove the drive shaft at the driving flange and support it at the edge of the pit. Next, undo the 12-sided nut. Do not under any circumstances use a screwdriver for this, because this way metal particles can fall into the groove of the drive shaft. With the disassembly, these can get between the drive shaft and the nut, and a thread seizure is then inevitable. To do this correctly, release the nut by first putting on eye protection, since the tab can jump out, and then by using a chisel that's not too flat. Set the chisel here and knock out the tab. With the tab gone, use the impact driver to release the 12-sided nut. Next, loosen the driving flange with a few impacts from a steel hammer. This must later be replaced with a new one. You see the part number on your screen. Now look for the possible cause of a leak. But first remove the locking plate at the threaded ring. Then try to move the threaded ring by hand. If that doesn't work, then mark the threaded ring. Afterwards, use the claw wrench. With a torque of 500 Newton meters, see whether the threaded ring moves. And we see that it did. Remove it using the claw wrench. As leverage, use the torque wrench and it's easier. Now remove the dirt in the threads with a wire brush. Once the dirt is gone, provide for a grease-free surface. For the exchange, use the repair set with the number on your screen. It contains a threaded ring, sealing material and a new driving flange. The thread must be degreased at the threaded ring, however protect the already installed sealing ring against cleaning agents. Also the coupling flange must be cleaned. Now raise the axle on one side and put the sealant on the first third of the thread surface. Using some cardboard, apply it smoothly. On the threaded ring, distribute the sealant over the surface. And here too, smooth by using cardboard. Note, you do not have too much time, because the sealant binds very quickly upon exposure to the air. Turn the ring by hand. And then fix it with the claw wrench. The ring must be tightened with a torque of 215 Newton meters. Turn the wheel to gain a better seat. And then use the torque wrench again. Repeat the procedure until the threaded ring does not move before the cracking sound. In order to give the bearing more play, loosen the threaded ring about 45 degrees. Mark the edge of a tooth at the threaded ring. Each tooth and groove correspond to an angle of 10 degrees. And the second marking here. Then turn the markings toward one another. You have 4 possibilities of how to install the locking plate. Tighten the screws with a torque of 35 Newton meters. What happens if the locking plate doesn't fit flush? That means that the plates of the input shaft are not in their prescribed position. In this case, you must remove the threaded ring, including the frame cover, and make sure that the plates fit correctly. We show you with this model. You can now let the vehicle down again. Put back the driving flange and then screw on the collar nut. Tighten the collar nut with the impact screwdriver. Note: the nut must be tightened with a torque of 1000 Newton meters. Using the chisel, make a safety notch in the collar, and the nut is secured. Lastly, the drive shaft comes into its place, and after a curing time of 24 hours for the sealant, the vehicle can be moved again.